The sheep out in the meadow and the coyote in the cow.
The continent, as it is known to its inhabitants, was firstly settled by gnomes. Sometimes later, the dwarves came. Unlike elves, we don't know how or from where dwarves and gnomes appeared in the known lands. It might be also possible that these two races are actually native to the Northern Kingdom's setting. Some 1500 years ago, on white ships. Why elves always travel in white ships? Well, elves came to the continent. They landed in the river delta of Ponta. Now the site is covered by the city of Novigrad. And by that landing, they sealed the river and its meeting point with the ocean as one of the most important locations in the known world. That one is known by the millennium that saw coexistence of these three races. We know some wars were waged at that time, but in general the balance of power endured, allowing a relatively peaceful coexistence until the age and coming of men. Humans are new to the continent. It is estimated that 5 centuries passed since the boats of humans' forefathers reached the shores of the continent. Unlike the previous guests, men aggressively attacked and beated elves and other races. That started the retraction. Dwarves moved to higher mountain lands and tried to dig themselves in the mines, and elves tried to survive in forests. Nothing really worked, only slowed the inevitable. Today, as you know, elves and other races are humiliated and persecuted. To understand why the situation is as it is, we must look at the characteristics of elves. We must see the overall differences that put Enshe at a disadvantage. Elves can live from 300 up to 400 years. Some even surpass this number and can go beyond half a millennium of a lifespan. As elves are attractive by human standards, they are seen slim in body build, and by nature they have features that distinguish the individual. Bigger eyes, no tusks among teeth, no body hair besides the hair on the head, and obviously pointy ears. But the most important feature is that elves are fertile only in the adolescence period, after 30 and before 40. To add, women menstruation period happens in elven female bodies once in 2 or even 3 years. That makes elves' pregnancy a rare situation and actually prevents elves from fast reproduction, so humans can easily defeat elves, well, by numbers alone. But elves and humans can produce offspring if an intercourse happens. We have examples of this in the books as well as in the games. Loredo raped an elven woman. Ciri has elven blood in her. Distant elven and half-elven relatives, Lara Doren eb Shienhal and her daughter Rhiannon. As well, the people who have only a quarter of elven blood, they do have a name. They are called Kvarterons. Yennefer is one. That means that among her grandparents there was an elf, and among her parents was a half-elf. Among other races that inhabit the continent, we have goblins, mimics, nymphs, dryads, halflings, nereids, sylphids, sirens, tritons, Vrans, that you might possibly remember because the city of Vrans was featured in The Witcher 2. There are also Vordianoi, the fish people, named only in the games and for the games alone. As you all know, biases are common in this world, making harassment and stereotypes a weekly, if not daily, sight.